we've had some technical difficulties this week, and I really want to give a big thank you to Mr. Graneri and his team for pulling this all together. We are live streaming now. Everyone in the whole country is watching these next presentations. No pressure, as the parents are laughing. I also want to thank James Patterson, our technical advisor that's with us. Thanks, James, for being here. As we do every year at this meeting, even though, and I know Mrs. Velardo will tell you this, we're just a few days earlier than normal, we want to give you a graduation update in preparation from 1 week, almost 1 week, 168 hours and 22 minutes from now. We will be having graduation at Niagara Falls High School. And we are and will be ready. It's in the unusual location, but Ms. Velardo is here with Mr. Rotel and Mr. Ventry. Mr. Ventry will be modeling the football helmet later on this evening for anybody who wants to stay and see it. But without saying much more, Ms. Velardo, would you please come forward and give us your best graduation update for Niagara Falls High School?
Okay, it's on already.
Yes.
Feels like I was just here.
You.
Hello, everybody. Yep, so we have, and I left my glasses in the car, so I'm going to be reading off both. But yep, we have our graduation update for this year. You can see here the first picture, by the way, is our commitment day picture from all of our seniors who are committed to a college or a trade that we took in early May. Is this working, Mr. Graneri? I got it, I think. Here we go. So as Mr. Laurie said, last year when we came, we had a pretty hard number for you just because we were a week later. This year, graduation, we still have a little over a week before, no, a week tonight that we'll be there. So we have a projection for you, and that is we will graduate between 383 and 415 graduates this year. And you can see our cohort data. So what cohort data means, and this is what the state uses to judge our 4-, 5-, and 6-year graduation rate, is the number of students who stepped into Niagara Falls High School or registered at Niagara Falls High School in September of 2020. Every student who did that, who entered that year, or who transferred in, who started their own high school in September of 2020, counts as this cohort. So right now we have 383 students who have already committed and finished everything that they need to finish to be a 2024 graduate. We have 32 students pending. That's a relatively high number still, but you have to remember that we, Tuesday had a big day of exams between global history and US history. Those are 2 of the 5 required graduation requirements for exams. We were off yesterday, so our teachers are still busy grading those, so we are waiting on some students for Regents exams. We do have a very limited number of students too. The grades closed today. Some teachers are still working with our senior students to finish up some work. So some of the 32 are kids still finishing their senior year credits. And then we do have 52 non-graduates, which I'll talk a little bit more about on the next slide. 9 students in this cohort started 4 years ago, but because of their IEPs and their special education status, are continuing on with us as part of their planned program until they turn 21 or 22. And that brings us to a total cohort number of 476. So you can see if today was graduation and today was the end date, we would be at an 80.46% graduation rate. If every single one of those pending kids makes it through, we could be as high as 87.18%. We are expecting to be around 83, 84%.
So let me try to frame this, and again, it's a bit speculative because as Ms. Velardo said, teachers are still grading exams.
Correct.
And that's why there's the range. But I want to frame this. This is what the state reports, okay? Right now, Niagara Falls High School is at an 85% graduation rate.
Correct.
I think we've announced that a number of times. If everybody pulls through, and we're hoping and praying, we could rise as high as 87%.
Correct.
If, and this won't happen, if nobody pulls through, we could drop to 80.5%.
Correct.
So I show you this because I want to show you how closely we track every single student. I want to make one comment on this, two comments on this slide. Do you see the special education, they're staying to age 21? They technically can stay to age 22, and they have a right to, and I'm glad they are. But those 9 students count against our graduation rate.
This year.
This year. So it would be impossible to have a 100% graduation rate, because those 9 students have every right to stay in school till they're 21 years, 364 days old. Yet the state says they're not going to graduate, so we'll count them as non-completers. Tell me how that makes sense. Makes no sense to me. So when you put numbers there, I'm celebrating the 80s and praying for the high 80s, but it makes no logical sense. Mr. Ventry, you're the math teacher. 9 students equals a percent or so? 2%. So right off the bat, the best we could do is 98%, because those young people are in a program that we call an extension program.
Yes, that's right.
And they have every right to stay in school, but the state penalizes us for doing that. And the parents want it and the kids want it. Right. Now, so all I'm saying is our graduation rate isn't out of 100, it's out of 98%. Now, I'm hoping that we're at 87.1. I think Ms. Velardo is being very realistic.
Yes.
In saying we're probably going to end up in the 80s, mid-80s, right. 83, 84%.
And I do want to add, though, compared to the 85% last year, you have to remember last year's cohort never had to pass an exam with a 65 or higher. They benefited from a lot of exemptions from their early years of high school, and then later the special appeals, in which the pass rate for a Regents exam was a 50. Yep. So this cohort is you know, if they owed any Regents exams still at this point this year, which many of them do, many of those pending kids are that, they have to get a 65% or higher unless they have an IEP or a 504.
And I know Mr. Velardo has a question, but the naysayers in the world were saying, that's inflated. That's inflated. They give you all those breaks. That's not right. Niagara Falls can't do that. Well, I'm showing you that I'm going to say 84%. That's not inflated. That's what that rate. I also wanted to show, and I'm really super glad that Dasha Royster's picture, I don't know her, but check out Dasha Royster. To the Niagara Falls High School team, congratulations. They were doing a lot of posting of the successful kids. This is one of our historically black college students.
Yes, so I did want to just highlight that by putting a visual on here, that if you haven't seen our social media posts all spring, we've been highlighting students who submitted the information to us on where their, you know, what their plans are for next year. And Dasha is a great student. She's going to North Carolina A&T, which is HBCU, and she also recently tried out for and made their band there. So she'll be going down this summer because they go to preseason just like all the sports teams. So she was very excited to have been auditioned and made that prestigious band.
Sorry, Nick.
It's all right. I forgot what I was going to say. Anyway. No, I didn't. No, we talk about the we're talking about the general cohort. A lot of some of those kids that were graded on and the percentage have already left the school district. It can't be accounted for, correct?
Correct.
Right.
So that goes. So no matter what we're going to do, it'll almost impossible to make 100%.
Yes.
How many are in the 52? I would assume that they would be included in the 52?
No.
The non-grads?
Yes, the 52 non-grads that
So
Are those kids
how
that
many?
left?
So those, this is our next, like our non-graduate statistics. So approximately 75% of our non-grads are due to either absenteeism or low credits. Those are the kids that may have moved away and we just haven't been able to track down. Although Ed Ventry and Marcia Capone try really, really hard. They really follow up on every lead they can to try to see. But sometimes a student will move and never register at a new school. If they don't register at a new school, we are held accountable for them.
Just real quick, going back. Just specifically the next question though, because I was gonna ask the same question. So for any student that started in September of 2020 that is no longer with the district that counts towards this number, are those students included in the 52? And if so, how many of the 52 are students that started in September of 2020 that are no longer here?
So yes, they are counted in that 52. And I don't know if I could, and I'm looking at Ed.
When you say no longer here,
You mean that they may have moved and not, so if they move.
I think that's what Nick was talking about.
So if they move and register, they aren't on ours, right? If they move and register at a new school, then no.
Be sure Mike's there.
Right, so if they move and, right. And that does happen. We've been trying to minimize the occurrences of that by calling, sending Ron Cunningham. Marcia's got some databases she can use to look up. So we've been trying to track those kids down, but.
Are there any
sometimes
of those students that are in the 52?
Those are some of the 52 students, yes.
How many?
Most of the 52 are kids who they lost interest in school, despite all our efforts, all our interventions, we just couldn't get them.
Them to
Gotcha.
re-engage in school, yeah,
Some of the parents even say they're not coming.
right,
We're knocking on doors, he's not going to come.
right.
You know, they're 18 now, they're working, they're not going to come. There's more than that than you would think.
Okay, so I wasn't paying attention, maybe I missed it. But out of the 383 kids, you said some of the the teachers are still grading. When they're done with grading, will we lose some of those 383?
No, because, well, probably not with the pending kids. Most of the pending kids are exam kids, so we may lose some of them. That's why we have the low end, which is 80% of kids are already done and have finished everything.
That's a good
So
question,
the
though.
pending will only increase it. It won't decrease it.
So if you came back, Cheryl, or Ms. Villardo, a week from now,
Right.
pretend, 383 would be somewhere in the fours.
Right.
Pending would be 15.
Right,
Non-grads is going to be 52.
right. Well, the non-grads could be, I mean, depending on, you know, if there's 30
Oh, right,
pending,
right.
30 pending,
Yeah,
it could end up being
it could be
54
67,
non-grads.
yeah,
Right,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
So those 32 kids could be,
Got it.
will be by next Thursday divided up between either a graduate or a non-graduate.
Does that percentage raise up to it after, when the summer program comes along, we have our summer graduates? That'll
Yes.
kick that percentage up also, correct?
So of the 6 that are non-grads, a number of them are what Mr. Ventry described, which they are just refusing to engage, no matter how much we've tried. We have 6 kids who, because of exams or just, they started the year so low in credits this year that they made progress but haven't been able to cross the finish line. We have 6 of those non-grads who we are pretty confident will be August grads. And then any of those additional 32 pending kids, those kids are likely to be August grads if they don't make it in June. And when the state reports four-year cohort graduation rate, August counts with June.
So that's another relief valve, right? So we've got to get that 32 number down.
Correct.
And then we've got to get that, you got to see, even if they don't show up, you've got to give diplomas in August to get that cohort number up.
Correct.
And I think your high range, low range is good. We're shooting for 87%.
Right.
I mean, realistically, aspirationally, that's what we want, but
Right.
realistically, it may not hit 87%.
Right.
I guess and again, I'm not selling out, but what I'm saying is, with the change away from the COVID relief, we're going to be 1 or 2% off.
Correct.
Am
Yes, that's exactly right, which is, it's a little difficult because these students really suffered the effects of COVID just as much as the kids the last couple of years, you know, because they were in 7th and 8th grade and 9th grade, but you know, the states raised the bar back up to the 65 for the Regents exams. Although they do offer a lot of pathways with the 4+1. We've been getting a lot of students who have earned their CDOSs through their work-based learning hours, and that can count as a +1. Or if they're a student with an IEP, it can count in place of their Regents exams. So we've really taken advantage of all of the pathways the state has to offer. And I want to point out this picture, which is one of my favorite, even though if you don't know these kids. This is from the CalFIS grad walk that we had on June 4th, and it just, Mrs. Buckman sent me this, and I just think it's precious of one of our students hugging one of the little guys.
So what we do, just for those who may not know, and I'm not sure if the Abbott students saw this, or that the high school seniors get to put their cap and gown on and go back to their elementary school and walk through the schools and see their teachers, because it's not just the high school teachers that got them through this, it's the elementary and middle school teachers that got them through this. And I think that picture is absolutely adorable.
Yeah.
It's absolutely adorable. It's priceless. Did they go to the middle schools or just the elementary?
Just the elementary
Okay.
schools.
Thanks.
Yep. And so last slide here is, as Mr. Laurie said, next Thursday, June 27th, at this time, we will be getting ready to walk out onto the football field to graduate and celebrate the class of 2024. 6 p.m. and it will be sunny. We're keeping that sun up on the slide for as long as we need to.
Well, I checked, Mr. Ventry once again is in charge of the weather. His tenure depends on it. We're looking for 72, a slight breeze out of the northwest, 10 miles an hour.
Beautiful.
And some clouds. That partly cloudy. That's his tenure evaluation will depend on that. So good luck, Ed. We're behind you, winter tie.
Mrs. Velardo?
Yes.
Excuse me, do you have any information on how many special ed students are graduating?
You know what, we didn't prepare that for tonight. We can get that for you. We can get that for you, yeah.
I mean, with the new requirements, are they meeting expectations?
I would say yes, they are. I mean, the graduation rate for special education students has risen a lot in the last 6 years, in part because of the flexibility the state has provided on some of these things. So we expect their graduation rate to be in the ballpark of the overall graduation rate.
And I think something we're proud of is that our disparity between minority and non-minority students is non-existent. I think last year, you correct me if I'm wrong, our black and brown students graduated at 85%, and our white students graduated at 84%.
I believe that's correct.
Which is quite significant and shows that we work with all students and recognize that because it's a state indicator and we want to make sure our programs are servicing everybody. So. More to come?
More to come.
Any other questions for Ms. Velardo?
Thank you.
And I did hand a parking pass to each of you tonight, so make sure you take that home with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Velardo. Thank you very much. Well, we have some friends from Abbott with us tonight. Friends from Abbott, would you come forward with your teacher and let me introduce you a little bit? Yeah. Before we do this, ladies, before you do this, I just want to say something about your teacher, if I may. This is Dasha Colvin. Dasha is an absolutely outstanding educator in our district. Dasha has an incredible future ahead, potentially as a school administrator. I want to put a little pressure on you, Dasha. I want to put a little pressure on you as well. Dasha has great potential, and we are so blessed to have her. On Tuesday evening, I was honored to attend a ceremony that Dasha participated in. Dasha is also a small business owner. She was in a multicultural small business competition. And not only was she in the competition, but Dasha made a presentation through M&T Bank to a council of people, and Ms. Colvin was the first place winner for her small business. So, along with that great honor of being a multicultural small business owner and select winner, she received $5,000 for her business from M&T Bank to enhance and grow her business, which after her hours instructing young people at Abbott, she runs her own daycare. And I just happen to know a little insight that a couple of the great things about our daycare is that she has skill with special needs children, especially autistic children, for her daycare, and she's bilingual. And I just say that not to embarrass you, but to raise the bar on you, and also to say how proud we are that you're one of our teachers, and how fortunate who's in Ms. Colvin's class? Would you raise your hand? Anybody? You raise it. Okay. So would you tell us what this group is, please, and then, or let the students tell us, and then we'll hear from the students.
Absolutely.
Are you in the play?
I am.
Okay, so let me stop. So somebody from the crowd was yelling out. Let me start right now. I was going to do it at the end, but I didn't know that. So a person to be not named who was yelling out in the audience, I didn't know it. For the last week and a half, in celebration of Juneteenth this month, the CEC has been hosting a play, Joe Turner's Come and Gone. And it is performed at our CEC, which we're now using as a small theater space. There are 2 additional showings tomorrow evening at 7 o'clock, and Tuesday afternoon when you may see, Saturday afternoon when you may see me at 2 o'clock in the afternoon to see the play. I hear it's wonderful and moving and very nice. I didn't know you were an actress as well.
A little bit.
A little bit? Okay. So the plug is to anybody who's listening to this, stop at the CEC, see the show, because I hear it's great, and I will be there either tomorrow night or Tuesday, and you're an actress. When do you find time to relax?
I'll figure it out in June,
Okay.
at the end of this month.
Take it away.
Mr. Laurie, do you know the address for CT for the listeners?
It's at the Community Education Center on 60th Street.
6040 Lindbergh.
Thank you very much, Josh. 6040 Lindbergh, CEC. This is our second foray into putting on small theater performances. They did a play earlier. It went really well at Christmas time, and a group approached us about this, and it's timely, it's wonderful. So there's our plug. I was going to do it later, but since she's in the play, we'll do it now. Go ahead, Dash.
Thank you so much, and good evening, everyone. Thank you for allowing us this opportunity. My name is Dasha Colvin, and I'm a 5th grade teacher at Harry F. Abbott. So these are a few of my students from the Justice League After School Club. And this club was started because I have a lot of strong-willed students in my class, and we have a lot of strong-willed students in our district. And I just wanted them to know how to use their voice and incorporate reading, writing, speaking, and listening in order to promote changes in our community. So we have Skylar Crimes, who is my youngest child. We also have Lily Hood and Georgiana Groves.
Good evening. My name is Georgiana Groves, but you can call me Gigi. Good evening. My name is Skylar Crimes.
And I'm Lily Hood. We are part of the Justice League After School Club at Harry F. Abbott, and we're here to address our concerns about the dress code.
The Justice League is a group of people who the Justice League is a group of people who make changes in the Justice League is a group of people who take action to improve our school community and our world. Some accomplishments that we have made is that we've collaborated with the Girl Scouts to make a pop-up shop, and we've sold flowers to make a fundraiser so we can do activities.
We have many goals for next year. Some that we have listed here would be collaborating with similar clubs at other schools, speaking with Congress about gun control, and speaking with the mayor and city council about changes in our community.
The Niagara Falls City School District's Code of Conduct says that we should not be wearing hoods or hats at any time during the school day. It also says that we shall not be wearing shoulder-bearing tops. Yeah. We're asking that the district allows students to show their shoulders and wear hoodies.
The U.S. Government Office of Accountability conducted a study, and the results show that the dress code unfairly affects female students and students of color.
Why it would be safe to wear in class. I think hoodies would be safe to wear in class because you just know who you are, because some students, they just walk into school with their hoods on, and the teachers have to tell them, like, they call them by their name and they say, take your hood off, because it's against the school rules.
Also, if somebody's having a bad hair day and they don't want to show their hair, they might get bullied, and if they wear a hood, like, they don't have to show it. And also on Spirit Week, sometimes we have crazy hat day or pajama day. Pajama day, they can wear onesies and they get to wear their hoods, and they still, and crazy hat day, you get to wear hats and hoods. And they still know who we are. Even though it's just for fun, they still know who we are, so it should be allowed to wear anytime because they still can recognize us.
Some reasons for showing your shoulders is body positivity. People want to feel comfortable in what they wear, and they want to express themselves in a way that they feel is right for them. Also, it's just a shoulder. It's a joint just like your hip or your elbow. And students go through puberty. It's going to get hot in that room. They're going to feel uncomfortable and they're going to feel sweaty. And fashion is changing, and so are the products in the store. Sometimes it's laundry day and all they have to wear is a tank top. They don't want to have to go to school and have to borrow other clothes that have been washed and taken from donations. And sometimes if you're going shopping in the summer, all they have is tank tops. All they have is clothes that you can feel cool in during the hot days.
Thank you for your careful consideration. We will now be open to questions.
Now, that was great. So, I want to just make a couple comments, and then the board members are going to grill you real hard. So, first of all, you guys did a great job. Gosh, just such a great job. Such well-prepared, well-spoken young ladies. And I really like something your teacher said. You know, what she said is exactly what we're trying to promote. Strong young women. There's nothing better than strong young women to lead your school and this city in the future. So congratulations to you on being strong young women, and don't stop. Don't stop. It's number one. Number two, the young lady, I wasn't laughing at what you said about it's just a shoulder, but the way you used language and articulation, you had such a catchy way to say, come on, it's just a shoulder. It wasn't laughing at you. It was laughing for irony. And you could ask about irony is where I was like, wow, that's so ironic that she said it that way. It was really powerful, and I'll never forget how you said that. And number three, I think that you're an example, and I really like this Justice League concept because it hopefully will catch on in other schools and become something that we do across the district. But I like that you're taking different causes. Yeah, good school district cause, great. I hope that you take up a cause with the mayor. I hope that you take up cause with state government. I can give you a few suggestions. I hope you take up a cause with the United States government. That's how we build our future leaders. And boy, you are just hitting it out of the mark. And if we don't listen to students as administrators, board members, and teachers, then we're missing the mark, because student voice is powerful. So I'll let board members ask you some questions. They're pretty nice people, pretty nice. Anyone?
Ms. Crimes, who would your mom, dad be? I might know them.
Who's my dad?
Yeah, what's their first names?
Boris.
Okay, well, who's Charlie Crimes?
That's his brother.
Got it. So Michael is his brother too.
No, that's his uncle.
Got it. Okay. All right, well, it was nice to meet you.
Yeah.
I know, I'm old guy. I'm not being funny. Well, that'd be his either uncle or grandpa, maybe. Yeah, right.
I'm going to make a comment.
Sure.
I want to make a comment about your dress code. Each one of you demonstrate how different everybody can be, and each one of your outfits is very appropriate. I love each outfit that you have on. It just shows how different you can be, but yet appropriate. I love it.
Other comments?
I just want to congratulate you for your effort. I'd like to congratulate your teacher for teaching you and allowing you to speak on your mind of what is free. It's free to speak. And if you believe in what you believe in, continue. Look up to the ones around you because they are smart. They are full of knowledge. And if they're kind enough to share it with you, you will become like them, even if it's a little part. And from what I can see tonight, that little part is a big part of your school. Thank you.
So, is that your fan club with you? Who are the students back there? They're waving. Is it your fan club?
Those are my sisters
Oh.
and some people from me and Lily's class.
How many young people are in the Justice League?
Well, we had 2 sessions. So the first session was in the fall, and we had about 14. The
Okay.
second session was in the spring, and we had about 10.
Okay. About 24 students?
Yes.
24. And for the students, how often do you meet? Like, do you meet once a week, once a month, every day?
Well, the first session in fall, we were meeting Tuesdays and Thursdays, but then on the second, no, Mondays and Thursdays, but on the second session around winter,
Yeah.
in like January, we were meeting like Mondays or Tuesdays.
Okay. Last question I have, and then I'm going to give you a suggestion about where to go from here. Last question. How do you select the topics that you're going to, seek justice for? Like, it's just, how did you pick dress code? How will you pick something for the mayor? How will you pick something for the government? How do you pick your topics?
Inside our school, we believe that our students, we have student perspective. So we are on the other side of these rules and we can see how they affect us and other students around us. So we pick the things that impact us the most or stick out to us the most, and we go from there.
For the mayor, there are a lot of children on my street, and I know most of you have heard about the Nevaeh accident that happened right in front of my house. It was terrifying to hear that a little girl almost died on my street. There are so many children who play in the street, play basketball, catch, and I just feel it's dangerous for all these drivers who don't know how to get out of the bike lane, who drive in the bike lane, around children. We were going to petition for a more child at play signs.
That's just amazing. Did you want to say something else? You can say something else. Go ahead. Yeah.
And for the gun violence, people should only use guns to protect themselves and not hurt anybody. Like police, they use guns to protect people and themselves. Some people they use guns just to be brutal, or they need to steal something or do something bad in the world. So they use guns to put as a threat, so people will automatically listen to them. And you should probably have gun training, because some people, they just buy guns and some of them don't know how to use them, and they probably just go around doing stuff, try to protect themselves, but they can get hurt.
Go ahead, Rob.
I just want to tell you how impressed I am with each of you. You are just so well-spoken. You can tell you put a lot of time, energy, and effort into your group and these speeches that you've provided to us tonight. So I just think it's fantastic. Super impressive. We're proud of you. I'm sure your families and your teachers are proud of you. And I will say, I was going to ask about the numbers in your group, and I think you said 14. But there's always power in numbers, right? So when you talk about these great causes and things that you want to help to create change for, you should always share those with your friends, and even if they're not in the group, share them with your family, share them with your friends, share them with people in the community, because the more people that understand, what you want to accomplish, the more people that can help you, achieve those goals. So well done, and we're proud of you. Great job.
So let me tell you where I think we have to go, because you made a presentation and you got a lot of nice praise for the way you spoke, eloquently, your preparation, obvious, your cause, passionate. We have the dress code is not decided by necessarily myself or anyone here. We have a committee. The committee is made up of teachers, administrators, police chief, fire chief. I believe there's maybe some parents on that. And every year by New York State regulation, we are required to review the code of conduct and the dress code and the school safety plans. And then we have to, this board has to approve it, this board has to review it, and then we have to send it into New York State. So while you made a great presentation here today, when the time is appropriate, and if you believe in what you presented, I'm going to ask you to come again to present in front of that committee. Okay, so you did a great job. I think that you have a great presentation, but I don't want to say, that was nice, thank you, go home and we took some nice pictures. I want you to know that you as fifth graders have a voice that matters, and I'm not going to promise you that things can change immediately. You're going to get what you want, because part of government sometimes is some things happen and some things don't. And that's how it works. And while your ideas may sound great, sometimes it's not the right time, or there's other factors that you don't know about. But I'm not going to sit here and debate that with you, nor is the board. I think that you've earned the right to take it to the next level, and that's to present to the Code of Conduct Committee and to the School Safety Committee, etc. So I am going to be contacting your teacher when that time is appropriate, and you'll have time to hone your, you guys don't need much more practice. You don't need much more, you're there. So that call will be coming at some point. The final thing I would say is, I think Mr. Bilson was starting to allude to this. Keep going with what you're doing, and keep encouraging other kids, other students, to join your voice, your student voice. Do you have boys? Are there boys in your club, or just all girls?
We have a variety of different.
Oh, good.
schools.
Okay.
We have boys, girls.
Okay. I was just curious.
It's good to have unique perspectives.
Would you like to switch chairs so you could do this job and I can leave? She said it's always good to have multiple perspectives. That was her answer. And by the way, you go to Niagara Falls schools, right? You go to Abbott, right? You're not in college yet, right? You go to Abbott, you're pretty smart. You're pretty sharp girls. I don't know if your parents are here or whose parents are here. I know your mom, and I see two other parents. Let me tell you something. I want to tell your parents, thank you for sharing your children with us. This is the kind of, thank you, parents. Sorry, I don't know your names, but thank you so much for sharing your children with us. These are the kind of kids that are superb, but are more typical than not in our schools. And Ms. Colvin, keep up your good work, and congratulations. Thank you very much. Wasn't that? I think we have a future mayor, school board, superintendent, senator, assemblyman, congressman in that group. Ray, if you could pull up tonight's meeting, please. I want to quickly make sure that the board is comfortable with the items that they are voting on. Board members, this is this evening's agenda, and I want to make sure that you are comfortable because you do have a public vote in 42 minutes, and I want to make sure you're comfortable. If you'd scroll, Ray, we have 3 presentations, board members. I see Mr. Weiss is here. He and I will present a scholarship to a future minority teacher. We've got a great candidate who will be here with us this evening from Niagara Falls High School. We have 2 gentlemen coming this year who were part of our P-TECH program. And they are the recipients of the Golden Apple Award this year. And we have some Niagara Falls High School Unified students who are coming to, I believe, thank you for their support of their recent Disney trip. So that they went to Disney. The Unified students and their partners were in Disney, and they want to give you just a short presentation of thanks. So we do have those 3 presentations. And then at the conclusion of that, Mr. Pareto will put on the football helmet for the remainder of the meeting. That's displayed up there. Yeah, I think it will fit. He'll put that helmet on, so if you're watching at home, that will happen about 7:08. So, no, I just want to
I'll model it.
You'll model it, yeah. As we move forward, you have 5 bids. None of the apparent bidders have changed. We spent quite a bit of time going through those bids at last meeting and talking about the bidding environment. Mr. Consemi, to your point, we're going to approve the bid for printing and distribution of 3 newsletters in the calendar, and then hopefully on July 2nd, we're going to add up to 7 additional newsletters. You recall that you were talking about adding more communication with parents. So we in order to follow rules of bidding, Becky and others suggested that we rebid those 7 newsletters. So that'll be coming. It's not on here tonight, but it will probably, I'm hoping July 2nd, if not August 29th. But we want to put out a 10-day bid and follow all the rules because it would substantially change the cost of that. And we don't want to jam it into this one. Maria is going to come forward. Do you have additions?
There were estimates.
Do you want to speak to those now? Thank you. These were already distributed, Maria? So these changes came in your packets in the mail on Tuesday, but why don't you take us through them?
Absolutely. Beginning on page 2 of 29, we received 2 additional retirements since the last time we met. We also received 2 additional resignations. Some probationary appointments that you didn't see your last time begin on page 3 of 29. And then the next change you'll see is on page 5 of 29. That's the appointment of a probationary special education teacher. On the bottom of page 5 of 29, that's a new grade 1 teacher at Bluniva Bond Elementary. And then on page 6 of 29, you'll see some changes there. You may have seen these names in your last report. We did some changing in grade levels. Most of that was due to requests of principals and requests of the teachers, and we wanted to make everyone happy. On page 7 of 29, at the bottom there, some additions. One of those is going to change again. We'll talk about that at a later meeting. 8 of 29, that's a grade level change. 9 of 29, that star there is a grade level change. On page 10 of 29, that is also a grade level change. Then we have the involuntary transfers, 2 additional involuntary transfers we discussed and worked on for you just this afternoon. On the next page, if you look at the bottom of page 12 of 29, those are 2 voluntary transfers. Mr. Laurie was again agreeing to those as late as yesterday. 13 of 29, those are all some change in terms of their status and location. Happy to discuss any of those if you have any questions. The additional information beginning on the next page is summer work and Schedule B, Schedules D, E, F, and G as well. Any questions? I do, and you can have mine, and then I'll give you
On 13 of 29,
Maria? How close close are we, or Mark, I don't care, it doesn't matter.
I'm asking a question, Jimmy.
How close are we now to filling those positions that we were short a week ago?
I'll respond to that in a moment. Mr. Bass has a question.
Thank you. So 13 of 29, 4 down.
What was that number, please, Earl?
1, 2, 3,
Page
4
30,
down. Okay,
4
yes.
down. Is that like a step down?
Well, it is, and, Mr. Lloyd, do you want me to address that now, or do you want to talk about this at another time?
No, you can address it.
Okay, so it has to do with certification. And we had some certification questions and some certification issues. We worked with the employee and we worked with the union, and this is the resolution that we came to.
Yeah, it was really, Mr. Bass, it was really around certification. Yeah, yeah, okay. Yeah.
That's why.
I'd like to address a couple of things here. First of all, this is Maria's very busy time, and she's spinning a lot of plates, so there will be adjustments all along the way. I think that I'm pleased that there were 17 individuals who asked for, and we were able to accomplish a voluntary change based on a preference that they had. All staff members were accommodated. The second thing, and it's leading to your question, Mr. Consemi, the second thing that I try my best to do is speak to the principals about their selections, because they evaluate, work with, and have to have expectations for. So to the best of our ability, we ask the principals for their recommendations. I would say at this point, because there was so much movement at this grade level to that grade level, and we let it go a little bit longer, but we were trying to accommodate people, that as of this reporting, we're about 80% done. When we come to you on July 2nd, we're going to be closer to 95% done. I have some decisions to make. Maria has some phone calls to make to principals. We are trying not to rush things, but we're trying to move at a steady pace so that employees can know where they are before the school year ends. So it's my goal to meet with Maria again tomorrow and call principals, meet with her again on Monday and call principals, and hopefully by July 2nd, we'll be at about 95%. There's no way we can get to 100% by July 2nd. It's just too fluid of a document, and as you see, sometimes someone leaves, someone has a certification decision, so we'll do the best we can. With respect to the retirements, I'll say this at the conclusion of the meeting. We accept the retirements of our staff with great regret because we lose such tremendous institutional teaching knowledge and work with kids. In one of the cases, as Maria would tell you better than I, teachers have to submit their retirement now before a certain date so they can retire with their full benefits next year. And there's one new one on there. Did I capture that correctly?
Correct. The deadline is August 1st, and that is to qualify for the lifetime medical benefit for the following year. So that's why you see the June 30, 2025 date next to that person's name.
We still also continue to asterisk summer work. We're trying to clean up summer work as best we can, but that still is a work in progress. And we have the fall coaches on here, which is good. I think we stopped at fall, or did we go to winter too, Maria?
We stopped at fall at this point.
We stopped at fall. And I'm going to be talking to you in a subsequent meeting more about coaching positions. I'm just not prepared to get into a full conversation about that at this point, though. So that's the certificated report for this evening.
The classified report is slightly less onerous to take a look at. There were just a very few changes, but I want to draw your attention to them because they are significant. At the top of page 2, you'll see the appointment of a new senior school monitor at LaSalle Preparatory School. In page 3 of 6, you're gonna see a bunch of change of status, but you'll see the new ones for the probationary to permanent appointment of 2 safety officers and an assistant child care associate. On page 4 of 6, looking from the bottom of the page, 3 up, you'll see the appointment of permanent account clerks. Those were individuals who were provisional for a number of years, took their civil service test, and are now permanent in those positions. And then you'll see an involuntary transfer and some information regarding an internal Medicaid audit that we are going to accomplish. We do those twice a year, and that is so that we keep our Medicaid program strong. Any questions about the classified report?
As I said with the certificate in teaching staff, it's with regret and sadness for the district, but happiness for the individuals that we are losing some very good classified staff as well. So on that end, we're in good shape because the classified staff works, many of them work 12 months. The place, in the spirit of transparency, that we're not at 80% or 50% is with our associates. We have to get through this, and then we really have to buckle down, which each year I say I'm going to have done, but once again I don't. We have to go through all of the associates who are on one-year contracts.
Correct.
So the associates are nowhere near being ready for appointment on your board report yet. So we have some work to do on that side of the house.
Thank you.
Moving ahead, none of the resolutions for this evening have changed. None of them have changed. And unless you have, I'm going to slowly ask Ray to scroll. We do have the one short-term contract. The high school's ahead of the game. They're ready for the prom for next year, but and they have the prom tomorrow for this year, so they're really ahead of the game. And I don't. And again, that cost is coming from the senior class. It's not from port funds, but the high school's got to show me up and get ahead by doing it a year ahead of time. But that's good. Receipt of gift, the COLA adjustment. I was speaking to the students that were here. There's the actual filing of those 3 documents. 606, is our property liability. I have lamented the 12.18% increase that went through. Nothing we could do about that. And then we have a couple of grant evaluations, and then we get into 25 resolutions, all for summer programming. And I would just like to reiterate, in those 25 resolutions, only 2 of them are from the general fund budget. They're all paid for by grants, and they all meet the requirements of the grant purpose. So none of those 25, that's probably not the best and most articulate way to say that, of the 25, only 2 of them are paid for by the general fund, and that is for the aquarium at $650 and Explorer More at $450. So only $1,100 out of the 25 resolutions are coming out of your general fund because they all fit into grants. Then, and again, I'm not trying to gloss anything over, but then you get into our 4410, which is our way to have our speech teachers service our youngest children, but get reimbursed from the county, albeit at a lower rate, but that's okay, we're servicing kids. And then we move forward in the movie, and we get to 6.33 through 6.36, and these are all payments, and tonight there are payments for the ABOFA project. This is the capital project with mainly with the air conditioning at Gaskill and LaSalle. Remember, ABOFA is Gaskill and LaSalle and other things, and ARP is Niagara Falls High School. We then get to 637 and 638, and I will tell you this, we are following the teacher's NFT contract for the property damage. I would like to thank Earl Smeal. On Friday of last week, Earl rode around the city and observed, I believe, 15 different areas of trees and sidewalks that were heaved from 1 to 2 inches. I did call the mayor and city administrator ahead of time to notify them a letter would be coming from us. We did send the letter certified mail this week. It was received, and I spoke to the mayor this evening, and he has promised to begin with the trees. Earl, did you want to add anything on that? Because we did talk about it a lot 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, so, I guess the only update I have to what Mr. Lori just stated is,
I have been in direct contact with the DPW director, Kenny Tompkins, and he has stated that his forestry crew will start sooner rather than later, at least on the trees adjacent to Maple. What they're planning on doing is topping these trees for now to remove all the hazards of, God forbid, any kind of falling limbs. So that'll be the first step that you'll probably see start happening here shortly.
And Earl, I want to thank you, and I want to thank the CSEA union for allowing us to have a private vendor work yesterday to take some dead trees out of our property, correct?
Partially correct. He called me late yesterday to apologize that he wasn't able to get a crew out on Juneteenth, but he will do that work hopefully this weekend.
So like I said, this weekend, there will be a private crew that will be going around to take out the dead trees, and I still thank the CSEA union for that accommodation. Why I say that is because the CSEA union realizes that some of these trees are at dangerous heights that we just aren't fully trained and prepared to do, and that's why we've reached out beyond that, but we've done that according to the contract. 639 and 640 are 2 confidential agreements related to the Child Victims Act, and we have discussed those in great detail previously. You always have your usual reports. Our next meeting is on a Tuesday, July the 2nd. Remember that meeting is at 5 o'clock. That is for the swearing in of the board members, the swearing in of the president, vice president, and then there are some statutory appointments that you have to make that we'll show you in a minute, followed immediately at 5:30 by 83 resolutions. 83 resolutions. We'll take a look at that in a moment, and then that would really open the 24-25 school year. So unless there's questions on any of tonight's activity, I would like to move into a quick review of those 83. Thanks, Ray. So this is for the 5:30 meeting. We will have 2 short-term contracts, and we're just finishing them up. I'll speak about one a little bit later. As you scroll up, you see, and again, I'm not going to go, I believe, all of the board members that are with us this evening have had the opportunity to live the reorganization meeting a couple of times. And I'm not trying to rush these through. Hang on a second, Ray. I'm not trying to rush these through, but you will get a full binder. I show the public this. It's about this thick. You'll get that. You will receive that on Tuesday. I think, Judy, you'll receive that. So that will give you a week to look through them. And of course, our names are attached, and you could call any of us. With the exception of the ones I'm going to show you at the end, these are almost identically the ones we've been through for year after year after year. There are some changes to dollar amounts. There have been some price increases. we can certainly talk more about that. I'll go through some of these quickly. Remember that in most cases, we have increased and put in the budget 3% increases for our contracts. In most cases, there was a 3% increase to certain contracts in there. When you get to, again, I'm not trying to rush, but when you get to 624 and 625, this one hurt a little bit to the budget. Becky put these on there, and these are increasing by the CPI. These are the increases that the bus companies receive. And for the last time, the two bus providers will get the CPI increase, which this year is 3.89%. So their contracts went up 3.89%. I say for the last time because next year in January, you will be awarding new bus contracts.
Can the ones that are being changed or modified be printed in a different color?
If it would be all right with you, on this form, can we highlight the numbers? Is it okay if we say on 6.24, make that red, because that's being changed? Would that be sufficient? So that you will know to look. Things like, and let me give you two examples, if it's okay. The agreement with the credit union or the police athletic league, there's just date changes. There's nothing there. But 6.24 and 6.25 have 3.89% increases. I would color those in red, or I'd highlight those in red. The contracts for our clerk, our attorneys, and our safety director, I'll color those in red because there's difference in prices there. But I'll just do the number. Would that be sufficient? The background will be in the book. So if I'm following you, you'll see the red go to the book and go there. And I'll work with Judy on which ones are red. I don't think Judy needs any help, but I'll help her. Then, members of the board, we have, starting with 6 point, I don't know, we probably have 25 to 30 special education resolutions. You know how we renew our agreements with special ed out-of-district providers and service providers? Many of those are re-ups, but if there's a significant price change, I'll make sure I read that as well. Then if you scroll some more, Ray, and we go through 657, we get right to 658. 659 is, again, a summer program that didn't make this board report. That's for and 660, those are summer programs paid for by the grant. I'll make sure that I color code that. 661 is a contract for instructional services. 662 is for coaching. 663 is the temps. 664 is for a purchase services between a publisher for professional development. Earl has 665, that's Johnson Controls, 666. And then when we get to 666, we have 7 change orders and a number of payments. We want to pay our vendors, but we also have 7 change orders. Now, there's only one. Many of them were presented to you in May. There's only one that wasn't presented to you that I want to call your attention to because it's a very expensive one. And we didn't present this formally to Mr. Petrosi. But if you would go to 672, if you recall, when we bid the project, we bid a couple of alternates. We were able to get everything in the project at the time except the removal of 2 oil tanks. Remember the oil tanks? We kept that out because we weren't sure about the money we'd have left. Well, now we're into the project far enough that Earl, can I speak for you? We are comfortable that once and for all, we could remove those 2 final oil tanks and have the money to do that. It has to be reflected as a change order, even though it was bid as part of the project. Correct. So that is a larger one, and we didn't bring that to you, Mr. Petrosi, because it was bid, and I know we've talked about having those oil tanks removed. The oil tanks are located here. I don't know if it's here. I think it's in front. And the oil tank is located at the CEC. Yes. Here and there. And if I am remembering, with the removal of those, we have taken care of all of the oil tanks in the district. That means I forgot one, Niagara Street, or Bond. So all of the oil tanks are now taken care of except Leneva Bonds, which is working. It's one of the... Yeah.
It's one of the newest ones, and we use it more so for the emergency generator set over there than anything else.
I guess what I'm kind of clicking off for you is we got all the roofs done, we got the tanks taken care of, we got the air conditioning, we're gonna have the air conditioning done. We're clipping stuff along here. So that, Mr. Petrosi, was not something we brought to you formally, but we did we did have it in the bid. Nick?
Yeah, I know it's hard to tell right now, Earl, but when we start taking those tanks out, is there any chance of migration from the fuel that was in there? Was that accounted into the bidding or not?
It was.
Yeah, good point.
And forgive me, off the top of my head, Mr. Velardo, I do not remember how many cubic yards of potential hazardous soil is accounted for in the bid.
I'm surprised.
But,
I am too.
But just in case it is there, and I will tell you this, and I really hate to say this out loud, but I'm gonna stay confident and positive.
Oh, boy.
The 5 tanks that we had replaced as part of the last capital project, there was no hazardous soils found adjacent to them from leakage or seepage or even spillover from filling over the years.
Yeah, I know when we built the band school, there was quite a bit with the oil tanks there.
Well, that was
maybe before your time.
Back
but I'm
when,
just saying,
back when the old school stood there, yes.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, stuff happens and we don't know what's under there. That's all I'm
Correct.
saying.
No, I'm glad you brought this up because I want to say something publicly. When we begin tank removal, and I think we're going to begin that after the 4th of July, we have to post signage here and at the CEC. That doesn't mean people can't come into the building. That doesn't mean you can't work, but there is a DEC requirement to post signage, correct? Or am I over 3?
You're somewhat correct. It's more about...
I am not asking Earl one more question tonight. That is the last question I'm asking him.
Okay.
I'm trying to prepare people so they know if they see
No.
something.
Yes. and
That's
the
my last question to you. Go ahead, tell them the truth.
Okay. The DEC is getting a notice of removal from us shortly, and our contractors, so that they're put on proper notice of the tanks that we're going to remove. I think what Mr. Laurie is referring to is there was a couple of small asbestos jobs that needed to be done as part of the ABOFA project that we needed to post 10-day notice for, and have done so.
Okay. I'll debate you at another time. The bottom line is the tanks are coming out, okay? We got here's the good, I'll be the half full guy. The good news, the project's running really well with money, thank God, and we're able to do the tanks. Let's keep it that way, because the only thing that we haven't opened up yet are the secured vestibules. That's the good news. The bad news is I might not know my posting schedules, but I'll learn them better the next time. But that's a big change order that's in there, and it was approved by State Education Department. The remainder of the resolutions are payments to our contractors who have been nothing short of stellar so far. But don't rest on your laurels, contractors, if you hear me say that. Go to 7, Ray. There are 2 policies that we need you to determine how you're going to handle it. Let me take 702 first. The first one is the concussion policy. I'm going to ask for your consideration to waive the tabling on that one, because the only change to the concussion policy is that they're using an updated form. It's just a form change. It's nothing, there's no procedural change. And I'll show the helmets in a minute. 701 is a 1-year extension on the video conferencing, and I believe we talked about that. That's and agreed that we're going forward with. That is a 1-year agreement, and members of the board, you'll have to decide on your own whether you want to table that for 30 days and vote on it, or you want to waive the tabling. That's up to you as board members. But those are the 2 policies that we're going to ask you to determine. Maria will also have personnel that I believe I glossed over. You'll have personnel then? No, they're good. You're good. By Tuesday. We're going to add some short-term contracts for Tuesday. So in Tuesday's packet, this is what you'll receive. A real thick book. Any resolution that has a change in dollar amount or a change in conditions will have red on the number. It'll have red on the number. That will refer you to the big resolution. There will also be some short-term contracts, and Maria will have an iteration of the personnel report inside there, if that makes sense. Does that work?
Oh, so we're going to have a week to look at that?
Yes, sir. A week. And I know that's a lot of work for you. The only thing I would say is a lot of it is stuff that, as a seasoned board member, you've seen before. And again, Mr. Consemi and other board members, where the red is, you'll say it went up 3%, it went up 1%, it went up, we have one that went up $1. The internal claims auditor was making $39, next year it's $40. So that will be red, all right? But I'll make sure we read that. We put that in red, so you can refer back to the book. That is my story. That is all we have for this evening. And I don't think there's anything else for this evening. So thank you for your patience. We have about 10 minutes if you'd like to take a break. We need to start at 7 o'clock. Would that work for everyone? Thank you. I'm sorry?
Walk around like yourself.
Well,
How you doing?
good. Well, you look nice as always. That's what
Yeah.
matters.
I had to go to Dr. Marabito's retirement. He's leaving
Oh,
us-
yeah. I was there.
leaving us today.
If everyone could please be seated. Actually, don't bother to sit, because we're going to stand for the pledge to the flag, if I'm right, Judy, right? Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you.
Okay, let us pray. Dear Lord, we come before you in this board meeting acknowledging your sovereignty over all things. We humbly seek your guidance as we deliberate on matters of great importance for our district. Grant us wisdom to make sound decisions that reflect your love of who you are. May our decisions be marked by respect and understanding, working collectively for greater good. Bless the leadership and direction of this board as we strive to fulfill our responsibility with integrity. Hear our prayer, O Lord, in Jesus' name, amen.
Mr. Bass?
Present.
Mr. Wilson?
Here.
Mr. Kinsemi is present. Mr. Capizzi?
Here.
Mrs. Dunn? Mr. Cadella is excused. Mr. Pareto? Mr. Velardo? Mr. Petrosi? 8 present.
Judy, Mr. Laurie, would you like to do the special presentations?
It would be my honor, and welcome everyone to our board meeting. We've had a really good year of being able to have students experience different parts of the country and beyond the country, actually different parts of the world. Niagara Falls High School alone sent students to Ghana, Africa this year. They sent music students to Cleveland, Ohio. They were able to send 19 students, along with board member Bass, to Georgia for our historically black college tour. They sent students from the advanced Spanish class to Puerto Rico. And we had 2 groups of students this year that were able to travel to Disney in Florida for leadership conferences. And I'm pleased to say that I believe everyone had a wonderful time, a great learning experience, and most importantly, traveled safely and came back to us as the real valued and precious cargo that they are, in good stead, having learned from their experience. So from June 4th to June 8th of this month, we sent a team, a couple teams of students from our unified program to Florida, and they are here to make a presentation. So if you would come forward and approach and talk, whomever, and they're easy to distinguish by their very understated yellow shirts. Very understated yellow shirts. So come on up. I know that we have 3 of our staff members. We have Cassie Sleeman, Nicole Grant-O'Sheehan, and Mr. Zach Bridges, a great parent and a couple of students. So Ms. Sleeman, are you going to take the honors? So sure you can. So you put together, they put together a video of their trip. It looks like it's just it's a 3.5 minute video. I think that would be wonderful. So hit it. Who is it? Oh. Oh, that was Ursher. Now I get it. I'm sorry. So between the plane ride and the roller coaster, I'm a little dizzy right now, just so you know. So tell us about who you have here, what you did, and what you learned.
I'm Cassie Slayman, special education teacher at Niagara Falls High School. And Nicole Grantochian, special education teacher at Niagara Falls High School. We came here with one of our students, Kristen, and Mr. Zach, our associate, and student parent, Mrs. Lohr. All right. Mr. Laurie and the Board of Education, thank you for approving this trip. As you can see, it truly was a success. We appreciate and are so grateful for your support. For those of you that don't know, the Functional Life Skills students are special needs students that attend Niagara Falls High School. These students attend Niagara Falls High School from the ages of 14 through 21 years old. Ms. Granto and myself have a passion for inclusion and providing the same opportunities to these students that is offered to general education students. Throughout the past 5 years, we have found one of the greatest ways to do this is through unified programs. Unified programs are classes and sports where general education and life skills students participate together as partners and collaborate in class and are teammates on and off the court. Relationships that are made through these programs is more than you can learn in a classroom. Currently at NFHS, we offer unified gym, unified art, unified bowling, unified basketball, unified cheerleading, unified bocce, and most recently added this year was unified Spanish. It is our passion to make sure all of our students are included in every aspect of high school. Over the past few years, there have been many opportunities for general education students to participate in trips to Ghana, Puerto Rico, New York City, Florida, and currently in the works for next year, London, Paris, Rome, Milan, Florence. These are amazing opportunities, and I am so glad we have them for the Niagara Falls High School students. We want to advocate that special needs students are also offered travel opportunities. That is why Unified Travel was created. To show you with the correct staff and unified partners and proper planning, and a class trip with severe special needs students is possible and very important. Many of our students have never been outside the city of Niagara Falls, let alone on an airplane. The amount of life skills these students learn during this trip is immeasurable. This trip took a year of planning. At the infancy of our trip in June 2023, Mrs. Lohr, parent of Tommy Lohr, Functional Life Skills graduate, and Abby Lohr, current Functional Life Skills student, she is also a travel agent. Being the parent of 2 special needs children and the parent of a current life skills student, we knew her knowledge was a necessity to make our trip successful. Traveling with special needs young adults can have its challenges, and having someone who has a plethora of knowledge of special needs travel and disability services that are available is a must. Having a travel agent who is well-versed in special needs travel accommodation that is approved by our district must please be a consideration. We are thankful for the current district-approved travel agent for booking our flights and hotel accommodations, but our group requires more. A travel agent who is knowledgeable in traveling with people with disabilities and willing to communicate with parents. It is directly connected to our success. If it was not for Mrs. Lohr volunteering her time of 2 hours per student to set up flight, hotel, parks, educational aspects, and disability accommodations, our trip may have been confusing and frustrating and learning on the fly. Because of Mrs. Lohr, our trip was smooth, successful, fun, educational, and as you can see from the students' faces in the video, unforgettable. Please consider adding a second district-approved travel agent, one that is experienced and educated in traveling with disabilities. This particular group of students shows up every day, happy to be at school and a part of our high school community for 7 years. They deserve this opportunity. And again, I thank you for your support in making this a reality.
Not only did our students have a magical experience, but an educational one as well. We were able to incorporate students' IEP goals daily, such as math with purchasing souvenirs and purchasing meals, time and scheduling for bus pickup, meeting at the airport, going through TSA. Social skills, how to navigate through the airport, how to appropriately ask for something, order off a menu, navigate calmly through a heavily populated area. This trip helped build independence for our students as they were given a checklist daily of things they had to prepare on their own before they left the hotel room. Daily hygiene, what to get ready for the day, what to pack in your backpacks, especially with the heat. Most of these students, it was their first time traveling, first time on a plane, and first time getaways without their parents. We are so proud of our students and the chaperones and staff that helped us out on this trip, and we thank them all. Thank you again for giving our students the ability to have this magical experience.
And we just would like to invite Mrs. Lohr up to say a few words on her behalf. Is there a computer hook up?
If not, that's fine.
No, if you wouldn't mind just speaking through it.
I can, okay. As a parent, of course, like she said, I have 2 kids with special needs. Both of my kids have, my one son, most people know Tommy Lohr. If they've gone to the high school, he seems to be very popular. And my daughter Abigail, of course, is still there. As a chaperone on this trip, it was concerning for me when I was trying to reach out to the agent that you had to try and get information. As a chaperone that was not employed by is not employed by the high school, I had to pay for my own accommodations, my own flights, my own transfers, my own tickets, which I had no problems doing. But when I needed to coordinate everything so I could be with the students to help chaperone, the flights, the transfers, the travel agent was not responsive. And when I say not responsive, I actually had to follow up with her 3 weeks later to try and get basic information about, hey, who are we going through to get from the airport to the resort? Just basic information. What type of tickets are we doing? Are we doing park hopper? Are we doing base? And she's not responsive in a timely manner. And at often points was telling me to go back to the teachers. Oh, the teachers are gonna have a meeting. Oh, the teachers are doing this. And as someone who comes from a travel agent background of 10 years, that should not be how it is. The teachers are there to teach. They're not the travel agents. The travel agent needs to be the one who's accommodating the parent questions. And for myself, since I can't show it, I actually have, like for my own agency, we set up websites for the parents for group trips. We set up itineraries. We set up communication. So if the parents have any questions, they can reach out to us. They shouldn't be fielding questions to the teachers or saying it's the teacher's responsibility. That's their job. It almost got to the point of we were actually debating on pulling Abby from the trip because I did not feel confident in what this girl was doing. And that shouldn't be happening. We should be able to send the kids and have the parents who, probably like myself, are quite nervous about sending their child to the other end of the country, or other end of the state here, country, and not be able to communicate with any basics. Where were they staying? Where are they gonna be? Things of that nature. So it might be something to, again, I don't know if she's new, but something to look for, especially with this group. And to be honest, I actually had parents reaching out to me that knew me, asking if I knew what was going on with this trip, because she was so uncommunicative. So just something to keep in mind.
Well, go ahead.
So we just want to thank Mrs. Lohr. Like we said in the speech, if it wasn't for her, this trip would not have been as successful as it was, and we are truly thankful for everything that she did for us.
That's great. I just thank you, Ms. Lohr. I appreciate everything that you did. We heard what you had to say. I'm curious about some of the. We have some students who went. Can you get them Can we ask them to say something? Sure. Can you tell us who you are? Okay, here, men, look at me. I want you to tell me your name, and I want you to tell me your favorite part of the trip.
Hello, my name is My name is Zuik. My favorite part is Hollywood Studios. Hollywood Studios.
Oh, that's awesome. Hollywood Studios, wow. Hollywood Studios.
That's all of our favorites, I think. Wow, that was loud. Holy moly.
I've never been there.
You've never been there?
No, I've never been there. Are you in Hollywood Studios? Are you part of the exhibit there?
I frequented. I just want to know, first of all, that's awesome that was your favorite. Why is it so loud today? I want to know who booked your dinners, because I believe by the pictures, I have a problem, by the way, that you went to Tusker House and Chef Mickey's. You got some amazing, amazing meals. Amazing meals.
Who is this young man?
Hello, my name is Tristan.
Justin?
Tristan.
Tristan, I'm sorry.
My favorite part was hanging out with my teachers. Yeah, they did a lot for me.
That's so awesome.
I really appreciate all of them. Even Mrs. Laura.
What do you mean, even Mrs. Laura? Of course, Mrs. Laura. That's awesome. That's awesome. So you guys had a really good time.
Yeah.
Zach, did you want to say something? It looks like you want to say something, or did you want to talk about your baseball statistics?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Part of my life's over. Thank you guys for having us, first of all. And I just want to speak on the Lord's behalf. This trip was not possible, and thank you to our teachers for planning this, but they stepped up so much to create this experience for our kids, raising thousands of dollars, putting in their own money, and just navigating through the park. It was amazing, and we can't thank them enough.
Thanks. What was your favorite part, Zach?
Should we show photos?
No photos. What was your favorite part?
Just being in the room with the kids, just fantastic to see their everyday lives, how they navigate, and just a great experience for me too, something I've never thought I'd be able to be a part of at 22 years old. So it was honestly amazing for me too.
Well, we're glad you're part of the team. Thank you very much. Thank you so much, everybody. We appreciate you. Maybe we'll get a picture of you. And then I'm gonna...
Mr. Weiss, could you please join me?
Each year at this meeting, we have started a tradition between the school district, the Board of Education, and the Niagara Falls Teachers Union of awarding a scholarship of $2,000 to a young man or young woman from Niagara Falls High School who is a minority student and who is going to get into the field of teaching. And we, again, hit another home run with a future teacher. And I want to thank the school board, first of all, and of course NFT for sponsoring this. And let's bring up this year's award recipient. I'm going to do my best. Durajane. Durajane is our recipient this year. She's a senior at Niagara Falls High School. She will be attending Buffalo State University, and she is going to be studying to become an English teacher. And we are super proud of her.
Yeah, I think Mrs. Conkey shared with me earlier too that she was one of the individuals who was able to go through and get some experiences, even college credits through Niagara University and Buffalo State College through the PS2 program at Niagara Falls High School, as well as spent some time in district and an internship with teachers. One of us knows very well.
Her internship was with an English teacher who used to live in my house, my son. And the good news is you still want to be an English teacher after being in that class. Did you have to control the class, or was he in charge? Oh, okay. Well, good. I'm glad you tell the truth. So we're really proud of you. And all I would say to you is that after you receive, how many college credits do you have? 24. She's going to college with 24 college seen her at a couple of events, and I know Alexis Mallory. Mom, thank you for trusting us with your daughter. She's a beautiful young lady, and we appreciate what you did as a parent.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Mallory. The final presentation that we have this evening is one that we do at this meeting annually as well. And this presentation comes from our Board of Education. It's the highest and biggest award that the Board of Education gives out each and every year. And we are really proud of the two gentlemen this year that we're going to present to. We have, without a doubt, the best P-TECH program. We've talked about our P-TECH program and our partnership with Niagara County Community College. We have the best P-TECH program in the state. I'm not just saying that because I get paid to say that. I'm saying that because the state has recognized the school district by not only awarding us one P-TECH program, but two P-TECH programs. And no other district has that. And I'm really thankful for our students, for our partner at Niagara County Community College, but we couldn't do this without business partners who come and sit on our council, who advise us, who help our students get jobs and internships, and really help direct the school district from the outside in. What is business and industry looking to do to prepare students for the next phase of their life? And I do want to recognize and ask Ms. Rotella Zafuto, one of the administrators of Niagara Falls High School, to come and join me. Ms. Rotella Zafuto, when she worked in central office, Mr. Corello wisely worked with her and gave her the task of starting the P-TECH program, and has taken this to an incredible level of success. I know we have in our industrial manufacturing program over 120 students in our industrial manufacturing program being pathwayed into college in industrial manufacturing, or one of the businesses we're feeding right from the high school. And then this year, with the help of Ms. Chowdhury, who now works with Ms. Zafuto and Mr. Corella, we are now embarking on our first cohort of about 30 students in computer applications, which is, again, through Niagara Community College, and they are going to be our next generation of computer application specialists, and the need is so great. But it's really about two people that went above and beyond for us this year. And the first person who came to us early on in the process came from Moe Industries. And his name is Dave Norton, and I'd like Dave to come forward right now so that you can meet him. Dave, would you come up here? Dave has never missed a meeting. He has never missed an opportunity to give us advice and direction. He's never missed a chance to help one of our kids, and he stepped in to every time we had just a little gap. Dave, we're really indebted to you for the way you stepped up for the students in our industrial manufacturing program and the way that you supported them.
I just want to say both Dave and Dan, who is the next recipient, have really placed opportunities for our students in their path every time that we meet them, whether it was field trips or mentorships or internships. They've always been very enthusiastic work members that have done so much for our students and created meaningful and invaluable experiences. So thank you so much. I really appreciate all of your assistance for our students, and I know our students appreciate it.
Yeah, the opportunities, the job, that's what we're doing, right? We're giving more handoffs to our students in the next phase of their life. I never knew there was a moat down the street from here. I always thought it was, one day you took me there, and I was super impressed. But Dave, on behalf of all of us, please accept our thanks and the Golden Apple for all of the work that you've done. We appreciate it.
sciences and my mom in the social sciences. Those were their careers when they weren't busy raising 9 children. So I want to thank them for that because they made me value education. And of course, that's what this book is all about giving young people the right type of education so that they can be successful in their lives once they become adults. So, but the other part is about service to community. My parents, when they were done with their teaching days and the raising kids days, they worked at soup kitchens, they worked at food pantries, they worked at hospitals, volunteered, I should say, didn't do anything for money. So they knew about giving back. So I just want to acknowledge my mom and dad.
Dan, you said, would you come forward? So, Alex, forward. So, Dan came to us in a little different way. These are his colleagues from Boston. We'll talk in a minute, speak in a minute. Dan came in a little different way. He invited us to a meeting one time, and he said, we've got to do more to get kids ready to come into this world of work, this industrial manufacturing world. And I said, well, Dan, we're trying. We're trying, Dan. We're not there, but we're trying. I said, why don't you, in my great delegation style, give Val a call, and she'll invite you to a meeting. And from the moment Dan came, he has been an incredible resource in terms of taking our kids, showing them the operation it costs, making connections between our kids and other industrial manufacturing centers, not just Moss, other opportunities for kids, and saying, you know, have you thought about this place? Have you thought about this place? We need to work on this. We need to do that. And Dan, he is on a roll. About once a day, I'll get an email from him and say, have you thought about taking kids over here? What about meeting with this person? He doesn't stop. And he doesn't stop, and it benefits our kids. And you are just a whirlwind of good work. You deserve this recognition. We're proud to be your partner. Now, I know Alex is your boss. Alex is his boss, and he wanted to come. Alex is a third generation from Boston. You're a third generation boss. And I know you may want to say something about Dan. Okay. Well, Val wants to.
Well, I just want to say, Mark is absolutely correct, and he just joined our team and started running right away. Got our students into Voss, gave them tours of the organization, actually allowed them to mentor right away, and then also offered a job opportunity to some of our students. So again, these are experiences that are incredibly invaluable and so meaningful for our kids as they choose their next career, or choose their career.
Putting our kids all ready to work at their company. Our kids are leaving Niagara Falls High School, going to work at a prestigious company like Boss, right out of high school. So, thank you so very much. Congratulations.
Yes, when Alex launched this workforce development program that I'm working on, it was out of necessity because we really struggled to hire
guidance. They need a passion, they need a direction, they need something to have purpose. That's the function of the educational system, is to give the youth the direction, passion, purpose. And through the P-TECH program, we're allowing these children to find other paths, something that they are intelligent, right? I believe everybody is smart in their own ways. This gives them options to explore a career in ways that they are very intelligent. Everybody's equally intelligent. So this P-TECH program is huge for, I think, society. There's a grander purpose behind all this. And Dan, you know, he has a lot of passion in what I see in growing all this, and I'm honestly very proud of his dedication to this, and honestly the support from everybody here. You know, it wouldn't be possible. There's a lot of work ahead of us. There's a lot more to go, but it's going in the right direction. I have a lot of optimism in our society and in our country through programs like this. So thank you. Thank you. Please accept that and get in here for a picture. So, Rajane, students from our unified program, Dan, Dave, I just want to say thank you all for what you're doing for our school district and for our kids. We appreciate it very much. Thank you. Now, this is not an award for anybody. I just thought it would be cool to show people. Okay, this is not an award, but I just wanted to show people, and we had some board members attend different conferences. I just thought this was, because we spent money on this for our football team, we purchased 150 of these protective helmets for our kids who will be soon playing football. I mean, you may see them at pros and practice, but I just want people to know that we're doing everything in terms of workforce, trips and things. We want to keep our kids safe. And I just thought this was something cool to show with respect to keeping our kids safe, even on the football field. And we have a very low concussion rate because we have some of the best trainers and coaches around. But this was an added benefit that came back to us from the board members who attended a conference and thought this would be a good purchase to make. Now, kids should wear these in practice, but they are not mandatory, but can be worn during the game, which we're going to encourage them to do that. And I just thought it was cool. And then for the voting part of the meeting, Mr. Pareto will wear this while he can't tell his votes from this point forward. So thank you all. Appreciate it.
I would put it on. I tried it on earlier. Well.
Okay, thank you, Mark. Congratulations, recipients. If you are ready, colleagues, I'll move on. Okay, thank you. Moving on, we'll start with recommended actions from the superintendent of schools, 401 and 402 together, please. Minutes is 401 with the approval of budget transfer number 11 is 402. Thank you, Jimmy. Second, Tony. Questions? Call the roll, please.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you. 4.03 are the following bids. Bid 1, school apparel. Bid 2, Number 2, bid number 3, printing and distribution of your public schools. Bid number 5, plumbing and HVAC, AC supplies. Apparel, a couple more, Jim. Athletic apparel, uniforms, bid number 4, and supplemental classroom bids, bid number 1. Jimmy, Earl, questions? Call the roll, please.
Mr. Bass?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson stepped out. Mr. Kinsemi? Mr. Capizzi? Mrs. Dunn? Mr. Pareto?
Yes.
Mr. Velardo? Mr. Petrosi?
Thank you.
All in favor?
Yes. 404 is budget transfer, treasurer's report, received and filed. 405, budget status report, received and filed. 4.06, personnel report certificated. Thank you, Nick. Second, Tony. Questions? Call the roll, please.
Mr. Bass?
Yes.
Mr. Kinsemi? Mr. Capizzi? Mrs. Dunn? Mr. Pareto?
Yes.
Mr. Velardo? Mr. Petrosi?
Yes. Thank you. 4.07, personnel report classified. Thanks, Tony. Nick, thank you. Any questions? Call the roll, please.
Mr. Bass?
Yes.
Mr. Kinsemi? Mr. Capizzi?
Yes.
Mrs. Dunn?
Yes.
Mr. Pareto?
Yes.
Mr. Velardo? Mr. Petrosi?
Yes. Thank you, Judy. 4.08 and 4.09 together, the reports on the committees for special ed and preschool special ed. Motion, please. Jimmy. Earl, questions? Call the roll, please.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you. 4.1, short-term contract with the Niagara Falls Convention Center for the prom for next year. Nick, thank you. Second, Tony, questions? Call the roll, please.
Mr. Bass?
Yes.
Mr. Kinsemi? Mr. Kinsemi?
You said yes, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Mr. Capizzi?
Yes.
Mrs. Dunn? Mr. Pareto?
Yes.
Mr. Velardo? Mr. Petrosi?
Yes. Thanks, Judy. 4.11, the reports for Head Start and Early Head Start. Acceptance, please.
Yes.
Jimmy? Tony, questions? Call the roll, please.
All in favor?
What? Hold on, got a question.
Mr. Laurie? Does that presentation of the budget on the first page for the Head Start program, if we could make it any smaller next time?
Okay. I got it. Big, big.
Yeah, okay. I thought it was just a small budget.
No, it's an average budget, but it's small print. We make it bigger.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Thank you. 601 and 602 together. 601 is a receipt of a gift from Dr. Sean Daly, and 602 is Head Start and Early Head Start grant acceptance. Jimmy? Thank you. Second? Nick, questions? Call the roll, please.
Mr. Bass?
Yes.
Mr. Kinsemi? Mr. Capizzi? Mrs. Dunn? Mr. Pareto?
Yes.
Mr. Velardo? And Mr. Petrosi?
Yes, thank you. Okay, and show Mr. Bilson back in action.
Yes, sir.
603 to 606. 03 is the school safety plans. 604, code of conduct. 605, district-wide safety plan. And 606 is the approval of our general liability with NYSER. Thank you, Jimmy. On the motion, second, Mr. Bilson. Questions? Call the roll, please.
Mr. Bass?
Yes.
Mr. Bilson?
Yes.
Mr. Kinsemi? Mr. Capizzi? Mrs. Dunn? Mr. Pareto?
Yes.
Mr. Velardo? And Mr. Petrosi?
Yes, thank you. 607 and 608 are for grant evaluations. 607 is NMG evaluation. 608 is via evaluation. Motion, please. Thank you, Mr. Bilson. Mr. Bass, questions? Call the roll, please.
Mr. Bass?
Yes.
Mr. Bilson?
Yes.
Mr. Kinsemi? Mr. Capizzi? Mrs. Dunn? Mr. Pareto?
Yes.
Mr. Velardo? Mr. Petrosi?
Yes. Thank you again. 609 and 610 are contracts for mathematics instruction. 609 is for elementary mathematics resources, and 6.10 is preparatory school mathematics. Nick, and the motion, second, Tony. Questions? Pardon me? Was it Rob? I heard Tony first. Okay. Show Rob.
Mr. Bass?
Yes.
Mr. Bilson?
Yes.
Mr. Kinsemi? Mr. Capizzi? Mrs. Dunn? Mr. Paretto?
Yes.
Mr. Velardo? Mr. Petrosi?
Yes, thank you. 6.11 and 6.32 are various contracts. 611, LaSalle Early Childhood. 612, Tel Consulting. 613, Bolodrome, and these are for our summer programs. I'll just add that. 6.14, Aquarium of Niagara Falls. 615, Booker College. 6.16, Hogel, formerly F-Bites. 6.17, Melinda A. Symes. 6.18, Because I'm Tired Enterprises. 6.19, Native Language Services. 6.20, Niagara Falls Memorial Medical Center. 6.21, Niagara Sports Tournaments. 6.22, Boys and Girls Club. 6.23, Game and Entertainment. 6.24, Master Ketchen Martial Arts Academy. 6.25, Ralph Wilson Children's Museum. 6.26, Makita Brooks. 6.27, Marcia McWilson. 6.28, Horizon Health Services. 6.29, Black Excellence Mentoring. 6.30, University of Buffalo Professional Consultant Services. 6.31 is Speech Therapy Services, working with Niagara County. And last but not least, 6.32, Best South's Behavioral Health. Nick.
Second.
Tony.
I would just like to make a comment that Mr. Laurie reiterate that all those programs are being paid for by grants.
Right, with the exception of $1,100. The aquarium and Explore and More did not fit into a grant legally, so the general fund budget is $1,100. Everyone else is coming from certified grants. No, it's important, and it speaks to the hard work that we do in writing grants. Thank you.
I have a question.
Oh, sure.
Yes,
Now,
Mr. Bass.
with Hogel, is it Hogel formerly F-Bites, or do we just keep that in? Is that their official name?
Their official,
I know
like,
it's head of lettuce, heart of gold.
it's Hogel is their real business name, but no one remembers is it Hogel, so we keep saying it's F-Bites.
Okay, because I didn't know if it was like, incorporated, kind of like when Prince became the artist.
Hogel is what's there on their insurance and their business, but we call it F-Bites because that's how it started.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't know if it was like a continuation of.
No, and people know it like that. I think everybody knows what F-Bites are. The kids know what F-Bites, I think, for the schools. I still think that they should change that Hogel. I don't, but it's not my business, Earl. But it's really Hogel on their business certificate.
Call the roll.
Mr. Bass?
Yes.
Mr. Bilson?
Yes.
Mr. Kinsemi?
Yes.
Mr. Capizzi? Yes. Mrs. Dunn? Mr. Paretto?
Yes.
Mr. Velardo?
Yes.
And Mr. Petrosi?
Yes, thank you. 6.33 to 6.36 are payments. We will take them together. 6.33, payment number 38 to Greater Niagara Mechanical. 6.34, payment number 2 to Johnson Controls. 6.35, payment number 2 again to Johnson Controls. And 6.36, payment number 2 again to Johnson Controls. These are for different versions, different particular job sites. Jimmy on the motion, second Tony. Questions? Call the roll, please.
Mr. Bass?
Yes.
Mr. Bilson?
Yes.
Mr. Kinsemi? Yes. Mr. Capizzi? Yes. Mrs. Dunn? Mr. Paretto?
Yes.
Mr. Velardo? Yes. Mr. Petrosi?
Yes. Okay, 6.37 and 6.38 are property damage claims. 6.37 is Lori Spanbauer, and 6.38 is Marie Campbell. I didn't hear, Earl? Jimmy. Questions? Call the roll, please.
Mr. Bass?
Yes.
Mr. Bilson?
Yes.
Mr. Kinsemi? Mr. Capizzi? Mrs. Dunn? Mr. Paretto? Mr. Velardo? And Mr. Petrosi.
Thank you very much. We're moving into the public comment period for non-agenda items.
Excuse me, Mr.
Oh,
Petrosi.
go ahead. Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. 6.39, confidential settlement. Jimmy? Nick, questions? Call the roll, please.
Mr. Bass?
Yes.
Mr. Bilson?
Yes.
Mr. Capizzi? Mrs. Dunn? Mr. Paretto? Mr. Velardo? Mr. Petrosi.
Yes. 6.40, confidential settlement number 2. Jim? Nick, questions? Call the roll, please.
Mr. Bass?
Yes.
Mr. Bilson?
Yes.
Mr. Kinsemi?
Yes.
Mr. Capizzi? Mrs. Dunn? Mr. Paretto? Mr. Velardo? Mr. Petrosi.
Yes. Thank you very much. Now, moving into the public comment period for non-agenda items. Speakers, 3 minutes, please. Starting out with Lawrence Blaber and Michael Barksdale second. Name, address, and who you may represent, please.
Lawrence Blaber Jr., 625 38th Street, and speak on behalf of my wife, Jacqueline Castillo Blaber, who can make it, my son Lawrence T. Blaber, and my daughter Genevieve Blaber, who go here. I wanted to address some of the comments that were made about a month ago. I wanted to be very clear on a couple of things that I think were lost. You know, from a compliance perspective, there were words used that upset me because I, above all else, I'm a parent here, all right? And I want to be clear, me and my wives are minority, tax-paying parents of disabled kids in a low-income school district who have a federal right to a free and appropriate public education. I use those words because if you're in compliance, light bulbs go off, you're highlighting things. Like how I'm in real estate, you hear the 9 protected classes, you pay attention because you have to be very careful when you say things to these. And that's important to me because as a parent, I am a stakeholder in this. There are stakeholders, parents, teachers, admin, school board, and the kids. And I felt that our role as parents and stakeholders was disrespected. NICEAD says successful districts have informed participation, more than engagement, okay? I want to congratulate Ms. Lord, who was here and all her work, right? But involved parenting is a spectrum, okay? She can do that. I blew out a transmission driving my kid back and forth for dyslexia services in Williamsville. That I'm an involved parent. I do not become less of a parent questioning the curriculum of my daughter that is harming her, and part of the reason I have to drive to Williamsville back and forth. And what bothered me is the words used, lie, misinformed, wrong, divisive, and disparaging comments, all right? That creates a hostile environment. Those are violations of the district improvement plan, all right? Words like that you cannot say out loud. You cannot be on record as using that kind of terms, okay? Because we're trying to move farther away from being a TSI, not closer. And words like that endanger us and bring us closer to receivership. We have to recognize all these parents and what we're saying. We have a right to question this. We are stakeholders in this thing. And I have emailed you guys directly to try and meet with you guys because I'm trying to speak your language because you guys seem to have stepped back from questioning the curriculum, but you guys do have a fiduciary responsibility, and your fiduciary responsibility with Title I grants regarding you buying a bad product. We have bought the Cadillac package of reading stuff for a curriculum that is failing. We're getting bad results. If we buy an HVAC system that's not working, you ask questions because you're spending money. If those caps are failing 80 out of 150 of the kids, 80% of the caps, you ask questions, right? So why is it that we have a product that is failing and nobody's asking questions and is doing a deep dive as to how we got here? And finally, when I emailed you guys, I emailed you about the path forward from Governor Hochul's people. These is the subcommittee. They are putting together legislation to put teeth to Hochul's talk. We have those people in our phones. I have them in my Rolodex, to use terms you know, okay? So this is what is coming. Niagara Falls is not special. There are 20 states that have already fallen. Look up the Hunt Institute, look up Governor Jim Hunt. This is what's coming. I am trying to get us at the bleeding edge of this program so that we can get the most funding available rather than wait till everything's all done and get the crumbs on the table. I would like to meet with you guys to discuss what we can do so we are at the head of the line. Thank you. And also thank you for letting me go over my time.
Thank you. No problem with the time. Michael Barksdale, name and address, please, who you may represent.
Good evening, Michael Barksdale, Independence Avenue, Niagara Falls, New York. I want to do a brief recap of what our group, Niagara Community Information Group, has shared with this board over the last 6 months. Starting back in December of 2023, our core team spoke to the board and clearly stated who we are, why we're here, and what we want to see accomplished. That was to admit that the current system is failing and work together for an excellent solution. In January 2024, we came before the board, we attended a board meeting. Shortly after that, we hosted a private viewing, meaning we didn't charge. We rented out the theater over by Home Depot, and it opened up, and we had citywide participation on the Right to Read documentary to make people more aware of this literacy situation. It's not just Niagara Falls, it's nationwide. We also attended the board meeting at the end of January. In February, we met with Kareem Weaver of Fulcrum, Western New York Education Alliance, the superintendent of schools in Niagara Falls, the assistant superintendent of curriculum and instruction, TSA instructional coach, and one district board member. Mr. Weaver strongly recommended someone from the school district attend the Seaford Structured Literacy Learning Walk in Seaford, Delaware. That offer was declined. Dr. Tina Schultz from NSEG volunteered and attended the literacy walk on November 20th through 23rd at no cost out of her pocket. Following that, the core team met with the community members to discuss the outcome of the meeting with Mr. Weaver, Western New York Education Alliance, and the district. In March, Dr. Schultz presented a debrief of the literacy walk in Seaford to the NSEG core team. The core team spoke to the board, and Dr. Schultz offered to share insights from that Delaware Literacy Learning Walk with the district. On the 25th of March, the core team met with the authors of the Western New York Education Alliance, the 2022-2023 Reading Report Card. The meeting helped leaders understand the report and how it can be used to improve reading instruction and outcomes. We presented this information to the community to paint a picture of the crisis we are in. In April of 2024, NSEG held a community meeting in the Underground Railroad Heritage Center. On the 11th, the core team attended the Western New York Lit Presents How Iroquois Central School District is Shifting to Evidence-Based Reading Instruction in Lockport. So again, this is evidence that we're going out and looking for solutions to this problem that we have. The core team spoke to the board and clarified once again the purpose of NSEG and who we are, who the core members are. We made oral and written requests to the district to show how or if They are complying with the established policy, vision, mission, and strategic goals. In May, the core team attended the Ignite Reading Showcase in Buffalo. Again, we are investigating to see tools that can address our poor literacy rates. The core team hosted public forum for the Board of Education candidates in May 14th, which the public enjoyed an opportunity to participate in the upcoming board's elections. And then May 16th, our team provided data source for reading proficiency scores to each board member, followed up on written response to the board. Responses did not adequately answer the questions. NSEG members were strongly rebuked for presenting facts and data in an attempt to improve our current situation. And I'll have to be honest, I was quite offended. I went back and looked at the video. From where I was sitting, I didn't notice the hand gestures, the body language, and the tone of the board members as they addressed our group. And as Mr. Blaber mentioned, some of the language was used was offensive. I expect more. Again, we presented, hey, we're here to help. Again, I said, together, everyone achieves more. We're doing our part to find solutions to help the situation. And if we're admonished for doing that, I don't think that's right. But again, we're here to help. We're continuing to look for solutions. We're not going to stop, because our children are important and our teachers are important. They want to do better. We want to help equip them to do better. Thank you.
If I may, before you leave, and I don't mean this sarcastically, you're offering to help. What do you want to do? How do you want to help?
So one of the things we offered was to sit down with Kareem Weaver and his staff of Fulcrum. They've been doing this on a national level. They've helped several school districts. They continue to help. They can provide resources, some of them free, to help implement the science of reading to start. They have tactics. They've been doing this for several years. We had one sit down with them as a group. We've been in communication off and on with our group, but sit down and see what they have. They offered, and actually they did do an assessment for the school district where they're at as a launching point, a starting point, but they'd have to collect a lot more data to do a more in-depth study to see where there's opportunities for improvement in the school district.
Okay, is this a voluntary group, paid group? Is it a contract? I'm not quite understanding.
So far, there's been no charge or no cost. We've gotten free information thus far.
Okay.
It depends on the depth of support they're looking for. It may be a cost, but again, you get what you pay for. So you imagine that soon there would be some cost.
Not disagreeing with that. I just don't understand, and I want to make sure I understand what the help is. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, and again, we can sit down, as a request, we can sit down and show you what we have so far.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
I appreciate
I
it.
actually would like Mark to ask a question. We have a policy that we don't address the speakers, but I'm slightly confused about the comments by Mr. Blaber and yourself, Mr. Barksdale, as far as comments that were made to you. I don't recall that. I'd like to get more information about what exactly you're referencing. Who spoke to you? Who said these words? Mr. Blaber mentioned a bunch of examples, and I'm just curious of who exactly said that, when it was said.
So that, I don't think we should bring that up in this setting. I believe you can go back and look at the tape or the video.
It was at a board meeting?
Excuse me?
It was at a board meeting?
Yes, it was at a board meeting.
Okay.
Go back and review it. Like you said, I'd rather have that offline.
Mr. Barksdale is more than willing to be. I will name who said it, what they said, when I pull up the videos. Directly a month ago, after we presented, okay? The words were, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that we're a bad school district. Those were the exact words used by Ms. Dunn. And then we were called liars, called divisive, and it was stated that parents need to get involved. Apparently I wasn't an involved kind of parent. You can pull this up on the video, whoever's got their phone can literally pull it up on the video towards the end. If you want, give me 5 minutes, I'll pull it up and I'll present it to you, and you can hear those words yourself. That is why I came with the energy that I did, because I found it incredibly hard that that was said, the meeting was ended, and I've had to wait a month to at least speak my piece.
Thank you for your comments.
I appreciate the feedback. Thank you.
Thank you, Rob. Dr. Tina Gregory Schultz.
I'm Dr. Tina Gregory Schultz, Lockport, New York. Niagara Falls is where I am in my organization. I'm president and CEO of the Niagara Community Information Group, also referred to as NCIG. It is the vision of NCIG to build a strong and inclusive community where all voices are heard and valued. All voices. Right now, many people are pleased that New York State is in the process of dropping its high school exit exam, the Regents. Although this move will help address some of the ills of standardized testing as a requirement for graduation, it will not provide next steps to help Niagara Falls address its 19% literacy rate. After viewing the May 16th board meeting, some parents, students, and community members felt attacked by some of the board members when parents were blamed for their children not being able to read. Although parents can do much at home to help their children, it is not their job to teach their children how to read. It is the responsibility of the school district to teach children how to read. Period. Also, teachers need to be properly and thoroughly equipped to teach children how to read. Teachers don't need to be blamed for what they have not been trained to do. And to be clear, the true bad apples are those who ignore the facts about our literacy problem and divert attention to expensive field trips that don't help correct the problem of the literacy issue. Finally, in answer to the question of can't we work together, apparently it is not the desire of the district to work with NCIG. NCIG has the ear and the heart of the community and has been to several literacy trainings and sessions, gathering information about how to address illiteracy in our district. Despite the offers NCIG has made at every month to share information and to work with the district towards a solution in which parents and community members can take part, district leaders have not accepted any of those offers. Our students deserve better, not just better than. They deserve the best, whatever it takes. NCIG is once again inviting district staff and academic leaders to share and work with NCIG parents, students, and community members in addressing the problem of illiteracy in our district. It's time to stop talking about it. It's time to be about it.
Okay, that's the end of the public speaking. Thank you. Mr. Laurie, information and reports, I will start with you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Remember, our next meeting is July the 2nd. It starts at 5 o'clock with a 5:30 meeting, and dinner will be after. At 4 o'clock, if you need to refresh your headshot, we will have someone here for that purpose. I encourage everyone, as I said earlier, to attend the play at the CEC, the Joe Turner play. It's got 2 more runs, tomorrow night at 7 and Saturday at 2, and I think you will be thoroughly impressed and enjoy that performance. I am glad that we are able to host that play. I want to, and I know we have the high school administrators, some of them here, I want to wish you a very safe prom and post-prom. I know you instill in our students safety first, safety first, safety first. I know you'll be up till 2, 3 in the morning, keeping our kids safe at the post-prom. Call me about noon the next day, so I'll find out how you made out. But no, I appreciate all the teachers. Is Mr. Slayman still leading that? Mr. Slayman. I want to thank Mr. Slayman for putting that post-prom together. That is a heck of a lot of work. And Ms. Du Bois? Yeah, so Carrie Du Bois? Carrie Du Bois and Rico Slayman, thank you for that post-prom. I know some of our kids look more forward to the post-prom than they do the prom sometimes. And it's a wonderful thing that we started in 2008. And the school and the teachers have kept that going for 16 years. Again, congratulations to Niagara Falls High School. This past Monday, 85 business partners joined 4 students talking about our PS2 program. And the 85 business partners were thoroughly impressed by what our high school students have learned in their business and entrepreneurial classes. And I think you saw 2 examples of that today. I want to point out another really cool thing that happened last Thursday, and this is a pathway for our kids that are interested in film festivals. We had 7 groups of students create 10-minute films, and they played it at the Capitol Theater, and there were about 125 parents there. It was professionally done. I want to congratulate Justin Gilmore, who we're going to bring a short-term contract to you next week to do more of this. I think you remember Justin was here a couple of months ago. It was first class, red carpet all the way. Great job, and I appreciate the work that the 7 films were really, really pretty different, but pretty cool. This was a rough week, none to say the least, with the heat. And I want to thank everybody who was able to adjust on the fly. I know we had to make some calls for half days for kids' safety. I know Earl's team, and especially Ray, Ray still here? Ray had to address a lot of technical issues that were pushed out already by the heat, and I think we have finally come around to getting everything resolved after a very unpredictable heat and rain type of week, and our systems held up pretty well. So thank you to Ray Granary and all of the team in IS who had to work with phones, internets, and things like that. They pulled through, and I think we've got everything now up and working. The field house is back up and working, and I appreciate the extra time they spent, especially on Wednesday, on Juneteenth, coming in and working through that. I want to close my comments, and while Maria was here, we recognized a couple of retirees by accepting the retirements that they put in for this year, both on the certificated and classified staff. Every time we lose a retiree, we give them great wishes, but we will miss them. And I want to congratulate all of our retirees. I want to just name 3 people that are also retiring that are not related to the district or on your personnel report. Obviously, you saw that Dr. Godshell is moving on from BOCES. And I wanted to mention that our good friend Greg Wattilla from Niagara, North Tonawanda is retiring at the end of July. Greg got very close with the district when we had an unfortunate incident, and our kids have been back and forth to North Tonawanda. But I want to publicly wish Greg Wattilla the best in his retirement. And this afternoon, we just had a great presentation about Niagara County Community College. Next Thursday is the last day for Dr. Morabito. And I want to publicly thank Dr. Morabito for his leadership of Niagara County Community, SUNY Niagara, and for all the partnership that he has done for our kids. He was a great partner. He has really allowed us to do a lot of things in terms of getting college credits for kids. And I want to wish Dr. Morabito, who has spent a long time in the SUNY system, the very best in retirement, and a great deal of thanks because he has worked very closely with us. So Thank you, Dr. Morabito, and we wish you the best, as well as Dr. Gottschall and Mr. Wattila. I have a need for executive session. When you're done, I'll read the reason for it at that time. So thank you very much. And please remember graduation. Let's pray for good weather. Let's pray for safety and health for our students as they get to an exciting time. But, it's a time we got to be really cautious, because, they get excited and things, we value their safety among and before everything else. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mark. Gentlemen and ladies, we'll start, how about with Nick? Any comments?
No, I just want to wish all our students who are graduating and moving on, whether it's college or a career or in the service, good luck and good health. And just concluding down our year, that's all.
Thank you, Nick. Rob, you're up.
It's the ending of another successful school year. Time has flown by. Seems like yesterday that we were talking about getting the year going. So congratulations to everyone that was involved in making it a successful year. And I can't believe it's already almost over. And wishing everybody a great graduation and a great safe prom this weekend. Other than that, thank you.
How true that is, Rob. Once you get my age, they go faster. Jimmy.
I want to send out my congratulatory to Dr. Morabito. I've had the opportunity to work with him on my foundation in the college for the last 3 years, and he really did a phenomenal job of bringing our college back around. Just for the record, you guys know that Niagara County Community College, or SUNY as we now call it, is the highest ranking academic rating of all two-year colleges. I think that's a lot to be said because many of our students are there.
Yeah, we do. You're right. We do. That's the number one place our kids go.
I want to thank the children who came out tonight and taught us all a little something. And if you didn't get anything out of that, you weren't paying attention. Our kids have the right to speak. And I was proud to see that our teachers brought them in to speak to us. They're not stymied. They're not picked on. They're glory. That's what makes us on this board so powerful. We might screw up someplace, you know what I mean? But I'm going to tell you, when I look at our graduation rate of 82, 83, or 40, 84%, what are we disappointed in? Not everybody's going to be a brain student. Not everybody's going to complete it. Let's be realistic. We want them to. We've got 7 pathways right now that we're introducing. We are making moves every week if you're coming and listening. I'm a little sorry that you feel that somehow we're not doing our job, because I think we're doing a hell of a job. And I'm proud of every member on this board for standing up and doing it. I wish you all happy 4th of July if I'm not here. I'm a fan of being here. But thank you very much for everything you people have done for me in the last year.
Jimmy? Earl.
The hour is late and we still have executive session. I just want to say congratulations to our students moving up and those graduating next week. And I hope that they succeed in their future endeavors. Thank you.
Mike?
Yeah, real quick. I know it's getting late too. I just want to say congratulations to the graduates and good luck on your next endeavors.
Thank you, Mike. Clara?
Not much to say, but I don't appreciate being attacked in a public meeting because I've never attacked anybody in public. At that board meeting, I don't believe I called anybody a liar, but I'm not going to lower my reputation. I've been in this community all my life, and I'm not going to ruin my reputation by responding to Mr. Blaber. But if you had anything to say to me or what I said, you took it the wrong way, you could come to my face. Don't attack me in a public meeting, please, because I don't do that to you. And adults don't do that to each other. Responsible, respectable people don't do that to each other. Don't do that to me. Thank you.
Thank you, Clara. Tony?
I'd like to thank our award recipients tonight, the two gentlemen with our P-TECH. I am, being a tradesman, I couldn't be more proud of our program and how what we hear from these individuals tonight, it made my heart soar, you know what I mean? And I know how hard you folks work at it. And I just want you to know that we appreciate it, especially myself. I'd like to congratulate our graduates, wish them a really good time at the prom and a safe time. I've coached some of those kids, and I always have a special bond with a lot of them. I look forward to handing out their diplomas next week, and I'm happy about our graduation rate staying up there, and there's always room for improvement. You know what I mean? So. Always look forward to that. When I first got on this board, it was a little low, you know what I mean? And we've gradually worked our way up. We're not perfect, but we'll do our best. But again, thank all of our teachers and instructors for getting these kids to this point. And we as a board are indebted to you and very proud to represent you.
Thank you, Tony. I'll be very brief. Thank you for your support over the past year, staff, colleagues, community. I wish our graduates the best of luck in the future. And I want to thank our staff for all the hard work in getting them through. And those few that are on the board, on the border there, let's get them over it. And I know we're going to do our best. I know you need an executive session, Mr. Laurie.
Yes.
You want to state it? Then I'm going to read who we're going to adjourn in.
I do. Thank you, Mr. President. There's two reasons they're both as a result of personnel matters. The first one is with respect to the appointment or promotion or assignment of a person, of two people. And the second one is the potential demotion, discipline, or removal of person or persons. So those are the only two reasons. There will be no action after the executive session, and those are the two reasons why we're going to be going into executive session.
Thank you, Mark. We will adjourn after the executive session in the memory of the following: Guy Bellavia, father of Carrie Roser; Ron Beningo, father of Safety Officer Ron Beningo; Betty Jackson, aunt of Margaret Moselle; John Jordan, brother of Victoria Granto, Margaret Campana, uncle to Nicole Grano, Paul Grano, and Marissa Champman. Eula Pearl Welch, aunt of building attendant Bertha Travis; Rosalind Carol Miller, a retired teacher at Gaskill; Josephine help me, Judy. Vincino?
Oh, Vicino.
Vicino, I got it.
That's Angela Mecca's.
Yes, Angela Mecca's sister-in-law, sister-in-law of retired maintenance employee Vito Mecca. And Diane Havens, mother of special education teacher Claudia Wade. Motion for executive session, please. Rob, thank you. Nick, second. All in favor? Opposed? Good night, everybody.
I will see you at home.